It's my birthday today. And since it's my birthday, I just wanted to make you guys a special video today. This is the top 25 albums of 2021 in my opinion. This was a great year for music, so many releases. If not for all these releases, I wouldn't even be making this list. So let's start it out with the honorable mentions. My honorable mentions will be Smiling with No Teeth by Genesis Owusu, Live Evil by Lancey Foe, and Nurture by Porter Robinson. Anyways, number 25 is Shut Up Talking to Me by Zach Fox. Yes, this actually made my list. I was not expecting this album to be this good, to be honest. I knew Zach Fox was a funny guy, I knew he wrote for the Eric Andre show, but I didn't know he could make a song with The Alchemist. Like, how did that happen? This man really said things get ugly like Ed Sheeran. And that's just one bar from this whole thing. He's funny, but that's not all he is on this album. He's a lot more. He's just a goofy personality. And there's not much filler because this album is only 19 minutes long. So if you want a quick listen, I recommend this album for sure. Number 24 on this list is Pray for Haiti by Mac Homie. Mac Homie is someone I came across by a friend Nutty on Discord. Shout out to Nutty. Thanks, you're very nutty. If you like good rapping, good beats, abstract hip-hop, lyrical hip-hop, check this out. I pointed the wrong way. Check this out, it's a good album. 23 is 2.5 by Amine. Now I've been listening to Amine's music a little here and there, and I knew about his hit Caroline when it first came out years back. I thought he was just gonna be a one-hit wonder, and I was like, oh, who is this guy? But now with this album, I keep pointing the wrong way. This album is Amine going with a more hyperpop sound, and it actually works for him. It's a very fresh new sound, and this album is lots of fun. Number 22. Montero by Lil Nas X. Yes, Lil Nas X made it onto the list. Why? This album is him proving he's here to stay. He is not a one-hit wonder, and he's still going. Like, this album is a pretty long one, but he does give us a huge variety of sounds. Like, more than just the pop you're used to. He's not Mr. Old Town Road anymore. That one rock song at the end, that is amazing. That's Lil Nas X at his peak right there. Industry Baby, Montero, the big singles, you know them. I think they're amazing. So yeah, number 21 is Faith in Persona by Death's Dynamic Shroud. I wasn't expecting to have Vaporwave on this list, but here it is. This album is like listening to video game music in one ear and having pop music in the other. This guy samples Dua Lipa, Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande, and Olivia Rodrigo, and manages to make these samples really well incorporated into a freaking jam of an album. This is amazing. This thing is amazing. Check it out. Even the first half of this thing, just check out the first 4 songs. These 4 songs alone warrant this placement on this list right here. Number 20 is one I've been wondering about for a bit. I wasn't sure where to place it on this list, and that album is To Hell With It by Pink Pantheress. Pink Pantheress, isn't it that TikTok girl? Yes, she is. And she's also very, very good at music. And shout out to my friend Osen on Discord. You're amazing. Thank you for showing me this. I don't know why. It's so addicting. And the replay value is insanely high. Her voice is so light and soothing over these drum and bass beats and the sparkly, spacey production. It's hard not to like. It's like you're listening to a dream. You're in a dream. Number 19 is The Fool by Blade. Yeah, I never thought I would be placing Blade this highly at anything. Like, the first time I heard Blade was like 3 years ago, and I laughed at him the first time I heard him. At the time I was like, how do people enjoy this? His vocals are so bad. But after 3 years of draining, I finally see the appeal. While I still don't like that song I heard, which I won't name because I know you'll be after me for it, this album right here is Blade's best work, in my opinion. It's just so uplifting, it's so wholesome. It's got his best vocals. He actually does good vocally on a good amount of these songs here. Blade does really well over these trance beats, and I definitely recommend this album if you like rap or EDM or just any music in general. His vocals may be hit or miss here and there, but still, when it's a hit, it's a hit. And if you're still hating on Blade after listening, listen to Hotel Breakfast with the lyrics on. Seriously, how can you not like this? Number 18 is The Life of Pierre 5. It's a vibe. This album is vibey and wavy. 17 is Brockhampton's Roadrunner. Yeah, while the middle of the album is a little hit or miss, with some songs just kind of going in one ear out the other, the beginning and ending of this record are stellar. Like songs like Buzzcut or Chain On with JPEGMAFIA or The Light Part 2 and Part 1. This album has tons of good songs. Definitely check this out. 16. Sound Ancestors by Myadlib. If you know me, you'll know that I'm a Myadlib super fan. And when I first heard this was coming out, I knew I had to check it out instantly. And while it's not one of his best albums ever, it's still got pretty good beats here and there, and it's kind of got this like narrative going or something. I don't know exactly, it's not fully fleshed out, but if it was, it would be a little higher on this list. But for now, it's at number 16. Now as for number 15, I chose to go with Nas with Magic. Hard beats from Hit Boy, some of Nas's best rapping in a long time, and while I liked King's Disease 2 earlier this year, I enjoyed this quite a bit more because it was a less bulky release and it was only half an hour or so. Number 14, 4NM by Chief Keef. The king of Chicago drill is back and he's amazing, and this is such a good album. It's so triumphant. Trumpets, horns, bass, everything. Now for a change of pace. Number 13 is Dijon's Absolutely. Ooh, let's all calm down after that. That was a bit tense. This album is cozy and with a surprising amount of variety too. Like there's this one song with a breakbeat on it and it works. It's one of my favorites actually. Talk Down, check it out. Move Over Frank Ocean, this guy's up next. And while some of the songs sound kind of like demos or unfinished, half-baked ideas, that kind of works in the album's favor. Like I like that about it. Number 12, we're halfway through. Foreign Exchange by RX Poppy and Good. Is it good or good? How do I pronounce it? Let me know in the comments. So a rapper from New York and a producer from Sweden made this thing, and this thing is amazing. While RX Poppy is known for being a funny guy, he actually puts a lot of emotional performances here. 12 Stout Street, NLMB, Liar. These three songs show how powerful RX's storytelling can be when he's not trying to be funny. And even when he's trying to be emotional and really pouring his heart out there, he manages to sneak in some little humor or wit or something. That's what makes him so likable. These are icy, synth-filled beats, and he just shouts so loud over them, you kind of want to turn it even louder. It's amazing. Number 11, more weird rappers. This is Van Gogh's Left Ear by Z-Loopers. This rapper is super weird, but I can't stop listening to him. The beats are unbelievable, and his energy on the mic is just unbelievable. He's always coming up with fresh new ideas. Number 10, and this is one of my personal favorites on the list, Surf Gang Volume 1 by Surf Gang is my 10th favorite release of this year. It's 15 songs, half an hour long, and there are 8 different rappers on it. Because of 8 different rappers, you get different styles and different moods every song. There's always something new to listen to. That's why I love it so much. The beats, again, like Foreign Exchange, they're icy, they're cloudy. Evil Gianni and the rest of the Surf Gang production team really knocked this out of the park. And yeah, definitely check this out. This one might fly under your radar, but give this a try. Number 9, and this is an interesting one because it's a series. It's actually the Kick series by Arca because she released 4 albums in a week, dude. 4 albums in 1 week. How do you put out this much music and have it be so good? This whole thing feels like this artistic statement, and she did drop the first installment of Kick last year, but 2, 3, 4, and 5 are all just as good, if not better than the first one. Each album has its distinct sound. It ranges from reggaeton to deconstructed club. There's even classical music on Kick 5. Kick 2 and 3 are my personal favorites out of this entire series, 1 through 5, but definitely try this whole thing out. It's like this whole storyline is going through it. 2 is moderate pace, 3 is absolutely chaotic and bonkers and insane, 4 is like the calm after the storm, and 5 is somehow even calmer. Yeah, check it out. 8 is Magdalena Bay with Mercurial World. Thank you, Rate Your Music. You've put me on to so much good music this year. Yes, I know I sound like a nerd saying Rate Your Music, but shout outs to Rate Your Music. This album is a fun bit of synth pop, and the transitions are really smooth in between each song a lot of the time. They really know what they're doing here. And what's even more surprising is that this is their first album under this name, and that's very promising for a debut, so I can't wait to see what they do next. Number 7, is Silk Sonic with An Evening with Silk Sonic. I was waiting for this album ever since Leave the Door Open dropped earlier this year, and I think Bruno and Anderson killed it. Even though it may be considered overhyped, I think it was still very good and really delivered to an extent. Some of the songs are not as good as others, like the singles are obvious standouts, but the ones that were left on the album are hit or miss for me. Blast Off was amazing, but After Last Night is a bit for me. It's a fun throwback though, and this is a very cool moment for the mainstream. This is like the best thing to happen in the mainstream since Outkast, maybe? 6 is Call Me If You Get Lost by Tyler, the Creator. This guy can't miss these days, dude. Flower Boy, classic. Igor, classic. This one, I don't know if it's going to be a classic. We need to give this one a bit more time. But nonetheless, production on this is consistently amazing, and somehow the features on this are just as good as Tyler's performances every time. Like, no one really phones it in. Everyone gives it 100%. I'm not the biggest NBA Youngboy fan, but hearing him on What's Your Name actually made the song a lot better, and he did way better than I was expecting. This album came out at the perfect time. It was scorching hot. It was like 30-40 degrees Celsius out. And what better way to listen to an album that's set literally on vacation, in summer vacation? It makes the album a whole lot more immersive. Tyler, keep doing you. You're amazing. Number 5. We're in the top 5. Let's go. 5 is Sometimes I Might Be Introvert by Little Simps. This album is a movie, and if you like good movies and good rapping, check this out. Number 4. Now this one's kind of a surprise. You might have not been expecting this, but personally, I enjoy this a lot more than a lot of people I know, and a lot more than I thought I was going to. This is Volcanic Bird Enemy and The Voiced Concern by Lil Ugly Mane. I love this album title and cover. How can you not like this album cover? This is so weird. And what's even better is it fits the album perfectly. The sound of it all actually fits this cover. It's random and unpredictable. 10 years ago in 2012, that's actually crazy. 2012 was 10 years ago. Lil Ugly Mane was one of the biggest names in underground horrorcore rap, and his rapping and production was amazing, so it was definitely warranted. And now he's back. And with another rap album, you may ask? Not at all. This is not rap at all. This is a mix of genres. You can't even really put a genre on it. He does rock, he does shoegaze, he does dream pop, he does stuff. It's just music. You can't really put a genre on it. And that's why I put it at this number 4 spot. Ugly Mane is just showing how versatile he is as an artist and rapper and producer. Not rapper, singer, I guess. His vocals aren't exactly the sharpest thing on this album, but that's compensated by the fact that this album feels like a consistent experience all the way through. The samples on this, the instrumentation, everything is just all there, and I can't believe Ugly Mane did all this by himself. Number 3, everyone was waiting for this album. It's Donda by Kanye West. Biggest project of the year by far. And what I mean by that is it brought the entire industry together. Everyone is just incorporated into Kanye's vision so well. And after Jesus is King dropped 3 years ago now. That album was 3 years old. After that album dropped, I was really concerned about his career and how it was gonna go after that. But this proved me wrong. This proved the haters wrong. Kanye is back. Number 2 is LP Offline by JPEGMAFIA. This album is insane. The man did it again. 3 albums in a row, all amazing. He just keeps getting better somehow. And Veteran was one of my favorite albums of 2018. This album is packed with fresh ideas and tons of personality on the mic. He raps, he produces, all that stuff. And by the end of the album, when you listen to this all the way through, it doesn't even feel like the same album anymore. That's how much of a journey this album is. And with that, we are at my number 1 pick. My number 1 album of the year has to go to By the Time I Get to Phoenix by Injury Reserve. Now, Injury Reserve has been putting out quality projects since 2016, but in my opinion, this is definitely their best album, or project in general. Ever since their debut album dropped in 2019, I've been a big fan of them, and it's very unfortunate to see that Stubba J. Gruggs passed away in 2020. It left fans wondering what they were going to do as their next move because their debut album showed a lot of promise. But we figured out that they were actually working on something this whole time and eventually led up to this album right here, which actually features Groggs on a couple of songs. But as for this album, how do you even come up with this stuff? These beats feel like they were made on another planet, and the rapping is no different. This album is what grief sounds like, and even though it can be chaotic and scary, the album actually ends on a somewhat positive note. But I won't spoil anything more because you should definitely check this out if you want to hear some crazy experimental new sounds. I wouldn't even be surprised if this album influenced the next decade or so of experimental rap like Veteran or Atrocity Exhibition did. And again, rest in peace to Grogs, and thank you Injury Reserve for creating such a great project and being such a consistent group for as long as you've been active. So, you've made it to the end of the video. Thank you guys so much if you've made it to this part of the video. Leave a like if you enjoyed, or leave a comment if you have any comments, or if you have your own lists. I'm interested to see your lists too in the comments below, so feel free to leave those down and I'll definitely check them out. And yeah, let's see what 2022 has to offer.